Hey everybody, and welcome to Strategy Hacker Livestream, which is now Crypto Wednesday. We're going to actually start at a new time next week. I'm Shelly Palmer. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. I see a good-sized crowd on LinkedIn Live. Welcome everyone. And on Facebook Live, welcome, of course, all our friends on YouTube Live. Thank you for being here today. What a great day it is in New York. We had a little bit of crazy weather, but now it's awesome, which is fantastic. I hope I'm sounding good to you guys, and I hope everything is making sense today. We're on yet another readjusted brand new rig. We've been working the streaming thing out, and it's really quite a process, to tell you the truth. It is quite a process. We have had all kinds of interesting issues with stream rates and audio and the different tools that we've been using to get our streams out to the universe. Looks like LinkedIn is kind of happy. Looks like Facebook is very happy, and it looks like YouTube feels like we're sending them too many bits. I guess we can. Anyway, welcome. Please check in on chat. We'd love to hear from you, and I can see a whole bunch of you here now. Tell us where you are. Tell us what you do, and of course, if you have any questions of any kind whatsoever, please feel free to reach out right here on chat. It's an ask me anything, any questions you might have today are just all on limits, if you will. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk a lot about cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about DeFi. We're going to talk about the world of smart contracts and what's happening all across various blockchain projects worldwide. It's been a crazy crypto day. The markets are really down right this moment. Yeah, the crypto markets are in not good shape. We're going to talk about the government's getting into crypto and what that means. Kim Kardashian is shilling crypto now, which is probably what's causing the crash between her and Elon. We've got all kinds of stuff to cover today. Norton Utilities, those guys are trying to help you mine crypto. So anyway, any questions you might have, first of all, just please check in. Let us know where you are. Let us know what you're doing, because we'd love to hear from you. LinkedIn people, I know it is not usual for you to comment in chat during the comment and chat part. I'm just looking here. But please feel free to comment in chat. That would be awesome. We're happy to have any of your questions. And of course, it's always cool when you talk to one another. I think everybody likes that a lot too. So please do that. Okay, moving directly into what I want to get to today. Today is a really, like I said, it's a very interesting day today. I woke up this morning to a really interesting article about Kim Kardashian and a cryptocurrency called Ethereum Max, which has nothing to do with the Ethereum blockchain, except that it's an ERC20 token, so it's written on the Ethereum blockchain. Usually when you write those tokens, they don't mean very much. Hey there, Charlie, welcome. It doesn't mean very much, but somebody is seriously scamming somebody right now. This was on Kim's Instagram. She was kind enough to put a hashtag ad at the bottom, in the very bottom right, just above the swipe up. She probably picked up $500,000 for that social media post. What I don't care for is the fact that they've named this thing Ethereum Max, making you believe in some way that Emax, which is what they call it, is an official Ethereum or part of the official Ethereum world. It isn't. And this is a pump and dump scam. I mean, it just is. It's a major, major pump and dump. And there's no reason for that right now. There's just no reason to have this kind of shenanigans in a world of decentralized finance when everybody's trying to get, better at this, and everybody's trying to really start to use this the way it is. Let's have a quick look at crypto prices. I just want to see what the market's at right now before I start telling you how bad the market is today, because let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin's down to 38,000, and yeah, ETH is down pretty hard too. Ouch. Yeah, it's not a great day. In fact, it's nothing like a great day in the world of Ethereum. Yeah, through 2388.21 is down from about 2,900 yesterday. So yeah, the market's all over the place. I think if the stock market did if the stock market did, hey, Tom from New Canaan, and hello, Steve Catola, welcome from Toronto. I think if the stock market did honestly what's going on with the crypto market, if that was the case, worlds would end. Literally, worlds would end. I can't imagine what would happen. Again, chat's where it's at. So please, talk to one another, identify yourselves, let everybody know who you are, where you are, what you're doing, because that's the good stuff. And you can ask me any kind of questions you want to ask. Today is going to be a good day, mostly about the world of cryptocurrency and the things that are happening there. That's the part that's important to me today. I've been working really hard on the DeFi part of crypto, not so much the coin speculation, because I don't see a reason for that at all. I just don't. I think a lot of people are making an awful lot of money doing it, and I wish them all the very best. But I don't see that as a way that I want to approach this particular subject. So, yeah, I just think that there's a lot more to it. And one of the questions I've been working on, I wrote a blog post about last week. It's sort of the main question. Bitcoin 2021 happened in Miami last weekend, and Mike Novogratz, who is a billionaire several times over, from crypto, oddly enough, he runs a fund called Galaxy, and I think he's got something like $5.8 billion. At least that's what it says on the Bloomberg list of people who have a ton of money. And 85% of it, something like 4.8 billion of it, is from crypto. So they've done well. He's done extremely well in the world of crypto. But listening to everyone talk at Bitcoin 2021, which was basically a love fest of adepts and supplicants who are totally into crypto and what they're in, they're mostly into Bitcoin. Listening to that group, you have to ask yourself, when is crypto going to become really useful? Not for speculation, not for the silly stuff. When's it going to be useful? And so I started to think long and hard, really long and hard. Hi, Ettore, welcome. About scalability, security, and decentralization. And they call that the trilemma. If you go look it up, people will talk about the trilemma of cryptocurrency. Remember the old adage, good, fast, or cheap, pick any two? Well, this is scalability, security, or decentralization, pick any two. And the problem becomes, if you want something that's eminently scalable, then by virtue of the speed you need it to be decentralized. So there are 3.3 billion Visa cards in the world, which is spectacularly interesting because Visa says it can do roughly 65,000 transactions a second. Now, they never get anywhere near that. Visa, most is heavy Christmas shopping, is 2,500 transactions a second. But they say that VisaNet, which is the worldwide network of Visa, can do 65,000 transactions a second, which is astounding. There are only 7-ish billion people on Earth. 3.3 billion Visa cards are out there. It's nice to know that if every human being on planet Earth had a Visa card, Visa wouldn't even know it. They just process these transactions as quickly as they feel like it. But Visa is fully centralized. 100% of that network is owned by Visa, and it's very secure because they own it. I'm not saying there isn't credit card fraud, but there isn't a lot of credit card fraud in the network. There's credit card fraud because people use the cards fraudulently. The network is very secure. It's banking secure, and it is regulated. It is also centralized. The Visa Corporation, it's theirs. So you really can't mimic that with a blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain, since Bitcoin was what we're talking about, Bitcoin 2021, tips in at roughly 5 transactions a second. And the blockchain itself for Bitcoin was, when I looked last week, it was about 340 gigabytes all in, the whole blockchain. It takes roughly, and you should know that every Bitcoin block that gets written, and they write a block roughly every 10 minutes, although this week it was closer to 12 minutes because of some craziness in China we'll talk about. The Bitcoin blocks get written roughly once every 10 minutes. So you're talking about 5 transactions a second, and roughly every 10 minutes they'll clear. And so at the end of the day, you've got to get a 1 megabyte block out to 11,000 validator nodes, or nodes in the Bitcoin blockchain. So if that's true, how long would it take over a peer-to-peer network on the public internet? Not Visa's own glass, not their private CDN-based centralized network, the public internet. How long should that take? In practice, it's just under 14 seconds. And so you probably wouldn't notice if a Visa transaction took 14 seconds. This isn't the transaction. This is just getting the information out to the servers across the Bitcoin blockchain to then go and solve the mathematical puzzle that writes the block and incorporates it into the next block. This decentralization reality and the public nature of the internet makes it, just the physics of it, impossible. You've got to get a megabyte block around the world to 11,000 servers, 11,000 computers that are attached to the public internet in a peer-to-peer environment. It'll not happen anytime soon. So the way that Bitcoin transactions are mined, validated and mined, the way the blocks are written, you can have scalability, security, or decentralization, but you can't have all three. Now, there are a bunch of new solutions, layer 2 solutions, Polygon, Polkadot, where they are more centralized than they would have you believe, but they're also blindingly fast. And in fact, there's, the rumor mill says we could be looking at 20, 30, 40, 50,000 transactions a second capability on some of these blockchains, but they are more centralized than they would have you believe. So scalability, security, or decentralization. The reason that I'm bringing up security is that if you had, let's say, 1,000 nodes on the network, on your blockchain network, and in your community, and you needed 500 of them to have a consensus or to validate that a block was non-fraudulent, that it was a good block and could be written, that's great security. But again, you've got to get that block out to 500 computers. So it's great when only a few people are using the network, but let's say you had 10,000 people want to use the network all at once, and can you really still get this information out to 500 servers peer-to-peer or 500 computers peer-to-peer? The answer is no. Those nodes can't get it. So you'll have fewer validators or fewer miners, depending on how you're doing the work, the proof of work, proof of stake, however you're doing it. And if you're going to have less people, less computers validating the blockchain, then it's less secure. It has more of a capability of, or more capacity to be defrauded and or hacked. So scalability, security, decentralization, pick any two. I think that we're going to see a couple things happen in the next few years that are already starting to happen. So this isn't quite stating the obvious, because it's not necessarily totally obvious, but it is absolutely a trend that is very easily identifiable. Almost every central bank across the world is working on a central bank digital currency. And China's got their yuan. There are a couple of stable coins in the United States, but they are less, they're not backed by the Fed. They're private projects that just happen to have the currencies pegged to the US dollar. But we've got a lot of central banks working on their own versions of cryptocurrency, and those blockchains are going to be centralized. They're going to feel decentralized. You may have the illusion of working in a blockchain or in a cryptocurrency, but these are going to be pretty centralized environments. And I'm actually sure of it. And it's going to cause its own set of problems. It really is. I think we're lining up there. Hello, Howie Schwartz from the Hudson Valley. Welcome. Glad you're here. Small but mighty crowd on YouTube, big crowd on LinkedIn, nice crowd on Facebook. Welcome, everybody. Never know which way it's going to go. Never know how this is going to play out. A couple things happened this week. The crypto market did take a header today. This is a chart from the last couple hours. Not great. I just pulled this candle. It's hard to zoom in to get the candlestick chart to be a little better. Part of what happened is that China banned Bitcoin mining last week. And that didn't mean anything in particular because China has done this before. They have they banned Bitcoin or crypto in 2013. They banned it again in 2017. They said you couldn't be involved. You couldn't be an exchange in 2017. Just a couple weeks ago now, it's about 2 weeks, they said, well, you can't, mine Bitcoin or crypto writ large. No one thought that much about it. Last weekend, the one that just passed, because today's Wednesday, so this past weekend, hash rates out of China were down 20, 30 points. And the Bitcoin, they mine roughly 65% of the Bitcoin in the world. The Bitcoin hash rate dropped. And so instead of it taking 9.9 or 10 minutes to write a Bitcoin block, it was coming in at over 12 minutes. And there had been rumors, unconfirmed because I don't live in China, that some of the really big mining facilities had been forced to close shop and were in fact going to go away. And in case you haven't ever seen one, this is what a Chinese mining facility looks like. Each one of those is a GPU, a graphics processing unit, like a 2080 or now would be a 3080 or 3090, but those are all probably 2000 series, 2060, 2070, 2080 NVIDIA cards. And there's like 100,000 of them in this one facility. Here's a picture of one in Russia. This one's interesting because I don't know if you can tell, but the people are wearing winter coats because they're trying to keep it cold in there. They burn so much electricity mining, and then they burn a ton of electricity air conditioning. So where they can, they put these facilities as close to hydroelectric power or in really cold climates, like wherever they can get something done. So yeah, Tom says, you're 100% right. Tom says the miners are all going to Texas. That's what we've heard. We have heard that the miners are going to Texas. And in fact, I'm sure what's going to happen now is they're going to go to Scandinavia. They're going to go to Canada. Texas, I think some people are going to relocate to because there's some good wind power down there. Yeah, Tom Herman. Yes, there is definitely renewable energy in Texas that they can get their hands on, and very little regulation of the power grid down there. By the way, you look at a factory, 500 megawatts. It's a ridiculous power consumption, ridiculous, out of control. Notwithstanding, we know this is true. Now, ordinarily, I would think that this would be bad news, all these mining facilities closing up. I think it's great news. First of all, China is mostly coal-fired plants, so where the miners are. So this is wonderful because the coal-fired electricity will be used less. It's also wonderful because 65% of the Bitcoin was mined in China, and that screams centralization. The big mining pools in China were responsible for 65% of the blockchain that mines Bitcoin. So that's not good. Now we're going to have miners all over the place. They're going to be all over the world, and we'll have them in new climates, and we'll have them in new areas where it's not all concentrated in mainland China. I think that's fantastic. In fact, I know it's fantastic. And I'm very excited by the idea that we're going to have less concentration I'll still put it that way in one area. And by the way, I wouldn't care where it is. If it was in Buenos Aires, it would be awesome from a weather perspective, but it wouldn't be any better for anybody. If it was in Miami, I wouldn't like it either. I don't think you should have this much power concentrated. The concept of decentralized finance is decentralization. Again, you guys can ask me anything. I'm happy to take some questions in chat. If you want to put them on Twitter at Shelly Palmer, you can do that. If you want to put them in LinkedIn or Facebook, Joey's monitoring, and we'll send them over here. And of course, I'm monitoring YouTube myself, so please feel free. Any questions whatsoever. While we're thinking about that, on Tuesdays, we drop a brand new tech stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett every Tuesday, wherever popular podcasts are sold, at Apple, at Google Play, at Spotify, on Amazon. Seth and I talk about stuff each week. This week, we had a little convo about technology and pop culture, which is what we do. We talk technology and pop culture all the time. So I hope you'll get a moment to download. If you do, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review that just lets us know that you had a chance to listen and that you loved it, because it's awesome. Seth's fantastic. We have a lot of fun doing it, and I think that comes through in the work. So if you be kind enough, we'd love you to listen to TechStream. Now, getting back to our subject, a lot of crazy has happened. One of the big things that came across my desk this week was a question: did the FBI hack Bitcoin, and did they hack the Bitcoin wallet of the ransomware hackers? Is that how they got the Bitcoin back? Apparently, the bad guys asked for 75 Bitcoins, and that's cool. They got them. And the FBI was able to recover 63 or 61 and change. I have to look it up, but something just over 60 Bitcoins were able to be recovered. And this caused everyone to reach out to me that I know in the world and start asking me, see, Bitcoin is not safe. Crypto's not safe. People are hacking wallets. The FBI can get into it. This whole thing is, nonsense. It's really fueled an immense amount of FUD, an immense amount of misinformation, just awful. So now the FBI doesn't tell you what they do, but here's what I will tell you. Yes, that Seth Everett guy is handsome. Seth Everett, thanks for putting that in the chat. That's awesome. That's well done. Mike Koenigs, I'll get right to you, I promise. Mike is asking a question, what my current take on DeFi and who I can trust is. I'm going to get there through this. You can't hack a Bitcoin wallet. Now, you're not supposed to say never. So when someone makes a quantum computer functional and they don't change the blockchain to adapt, they don't change the SHA-256 cryptographic hash to do something else, then they don't. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you could try as you will to crack a SHA-256 cryptographic hash that is holding a Bitcoin in its wallet. In some number of millions of years, possibly longer, you might succeed. Doubtful. No one hacked a Bitcoin wallet. What the FBI did say they did was that they were able to get the coins back, and it leaked out 50 different places, that the hackers were stupid enough, and I say this with all deference to the hackers, because it makes no sense to me, to leave their cryptocurrency in a hot wallet, a wallet that was online. Now, all of you who have been with me for this year, through COVID, through my crypto journey, as I've been getting deep into it, you all know that I'm a giant advocate of hardware wallets and offline wallets, and that I just hate the idea that you would ever put your stuff in a hot wallet more than you need to. This is a crypto wallet that you would normally use offline. This one's called a Ledger Nano. They make a couple flavors of it. Trezor is another company. You definitely want to be in a hardware wallet, and they apparently were in a software wallet that was online. So it's, you can have a software wallet that's offline. Once you put the crypto in it, you don't have to have it on a computer that has access to the internet. You can put that wallet, you can have it running anywhere, or not have it run. It does not need to be connected to the internet until you're ready to use the cryptocurrency. So yes, Tom Herman asks a very good question. Is there a gas price to moving your crypto to a hard wallet? Yes, there is. $1.50, $1.70, $1.90, 25 cents. It has not been brutal. It hasn't been brutal in years. I mean, there was a couple of weeks in there when gas prices on Ethereum were so high that nothing made any sense. But generally, it's not brutally expensive to move yourself. You don't want to move $100 any more than you want to go to one of those like currency places in the airport, and you're trying to get euros for dollars, and they're charging you like $3 or $4 as VIG on top of the exchange rate. So not only you get hit with the exchange rate, but you get hit with like the VIG from the Thomas Cook guys, or whatever those people are called, or the exchange companies. So yeah, the gas fees are whatever they are. The exchange rate is what you have to really be looking at. If you're trading pairs, you have to be a little careful of when you decide to move stuff in. If you're moving just a straight currency, I'm going to move USDT to my hardware wallet. I'm going to move Bitcoin to my hardware wallet. I'm going to move Ethereum, ETH to my hardware wallet. It's whether you move 1 or 20, it's going to cost you the same gas price. They're charging you for writing the block. They're not charging you for the amount of crypto you're moving. So it's not brutal on a percentage basis if you aren't moving tiny amounts. Tiny amounts, not so fun. Definitely not, because it doesn't work out in your favor. Anyway, what happened with I think what happened with the FBI is that these guys left this stuff in a hot wallet. They were able to socially engineer the password, or they were able to just somehow get their hands on the private key. They're the FBI. My suspicion is they have ways to get a private key off of somebody. And once that was done, it was done. So I don't see this as the wallet being hacked. I don't know how that's possible. I literally don't know how it's possible. There just isn't enough computational. There are no back doors to SHA-256. Now, look, could the NSA get it done? Is there like some NSA technology that can get through a SHA-256 crypto hash? Your guess is as good as mine. I hope not. It would make me sad. It wouldn't surprise me. It would just really make me sad. So let's just say no, because the math is pretty compelling. Computer power is pretty well understood. And at the moment, till we get functional real life quantum computers, I don't think we're going to see anybody hacking any Bitcoin wallets, any crypto wallets, not good ones anyway, not ones that use best practices security. So yeah, that's what happened. No, they didn't hack Bitcoin. They hacked the hackers. That's what they did. And hacking the hackers is way easier. By the way, in every single case, every time you do this, whatever this is, you are a bigger problem from a hacking perspective, from a security vulnerability, from an attack vector point of view. You are more likely to be hacked than your technology is across the board. You have a decent password of a decent length, no one's cracking the password. They're hacking you. Ooh, 2 free tickets to the hockey game. Yay. And then you're going to click on it. I'm going to drop a Trojan on your computer. And then it's going to go to sleep. And at the exact moment I need to, when no one's looking, I'm going to take over your computer. It's that simple. This is my new book, Blockchain, Cryptocurrency, NFTs, Smart Contracts, a executive guide to decentralized finance. And a moment ago, we had a question, which is, what is my take? Mike Koenigs asks, what is my take on DeFi, and how do I feel about who I can trust. The beautiful thing about cryptocurrency transactions writ large is that you don't need to trust anyone. What you need to do right now is get out of your head that any of this is safe. If you're outside of Coinbase or one of the really popular, very well compliant, semi-self-regulated, they're thinking bigger than just scamming everybody exchanges. So Binance, they've had their troubles over the years, but they do a pretty decent job. You can't trade on Binance in the United States. There is a site called Binance.us. It is from Binance. They don't trade in New York because they don't want to pay the regulatory fees. But they're pretty reputable if you don't live in New York State. If you live in Connecticut or if you live in most states, you can trade, just not, I think there's 4 or 5 states that they couldn't get regulated or didn't feel like going through the regulatory brain damage. FTX is another exchange that also you can't trade in the United States, but FTX.us, and also you can't trade in New York. Kraken, pretty grown-up exchange. They do a nice job. They're pretty reputable. And of course, Coinbase. Coinbase is crazy expensive. It's not a little expensive. It's crazy expensive. Here's a trick with Coinbase. And oh, you guys are being so nice to me. What a sweet thing to say. Thank you for all the nice comments about the book. That's really nice. Yay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I certainly appreciate this, Stephen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The trick to Coinbase, the trick to Coinbase is to use Coinbase Pro. Once you log into Coinbase, you can get a Coinbase Pro account. It's pro.coinbase.com. Same credentials, same login, same once you're into Coinbase. Do all your trading and all of your purchasing on the Pro side, pro.coinbase.com, Coinbase Pro. I don't know why they have 2 sides of the house. I have no idea why, actually, they do that. But they do, and Coinbase Pro is really cheap. And if you've got enough volume going, you could be down in a really reasonable fee for your trades and your transactions. I do most of my daily trading, my bot trading, I do on Coinbase Pro. I have a bunch of bot experiments going. I don't recommend it to anybody. My experiments with my bots are 100%, literally 100% about just me algorithmically goofing around. It's all I'm trying to do is just understand the algorithms, dollar cost averaging and Bayesian and regression to the mean bots. And I have a bunch of algorithms that I've written over the years for media optimization for my regular consulting business, where we've done media optimization and yield curves and all the kinds of things that financial people do with dollars, but I don't do that in the stock market. We've always done it with media buying. And there's a bunch of no code and low code sites out there where you can take your bots and turn them into action. Now, I've got a bunch of different strategies that I'm very fond of when I'm doing media optimization, when I'm trying to build yield curves, when I'm trying to get value-added media buys to happen, where you're stretching every media dollar against a given target. In this case, the target is making money. It's like, can you make money? And so I've taken a certain amount of money and I put them into the bots. And the bots I have, because the fees are low enough, I trade on Coinbase Pro. That said, and this is important, and it's not financial advice, please God, no financial advice coming here, because this is the marketplace in cryptocurrency is for insane people. I'm a what they call a hodler, HODL, to hodl. I think it's just a misspelling of hold, but some people say it's a initialism for hanging on for dear life or hang on for dear life, but I've never sold any crypto that I'm long on everything. I don't, I assume this is going to become serious at a certain date. Then if you're interested in the crypto market, the way I would approach it, again, not financial advice, just personal opinion. I was going to get into the crypto if I was getting the crypto market. I am not making that recommendation to anybody who I love or know. But if I was going to get into it, I would be looking for the utility tokens that are matched with the projects that I'm doing, because that's interesting. So, for example, the layer 2 solutions like Polygon Network, which is the old Matic network, Polkadot, which I think is hard to trade in the United States, but you can trade, but I think it's hard to trade in the United States. I don't know what it might trade on Kraken against USDT. It might, but I don't think you can trade it on Coinbase. It's yeah. So anyway, at the end of the day, if you're going to get into it by understanding what you're trying to do, not just to speculate willy-nilly. Again, not financial advice, do what you want, but man, that would scare the hell out of me. And just so that we should talk about this for a second. Everybody is always talking Bitcoin, right? Because that's synonymous, the granddaddy of them all. And when you say cryptocurrency, for all intents and purposes, when someone says cryptocurrency, they immediately default to Bitcoin, right? Because that's what people default to. It's like, okay, cryptocurrency must be Bitcoin. Bitcoin must be cryptocurrency. No. Everything that's not Bitcoin, and there are thousands of others, is called an altcoin. So every coin that's not a Bitcoin is an altcoin, and you can trade in any of them, and you can buy and hold or short sell most of them. They're all trading on exchanges somewhere. There are some coins called stable coins, and stable coins are just what you think they are. They are pegged to a currency, a dollar, a euro, one for one, literally one for one. You get dollar of Tether USDT is a dollar, and there's a dollar in the bank somewhere. So these are interesting stable coins. China has a digital yuan coming. All the central banks have them. Stable coins are going to be just digital dollars and digital representations of paper money. And that's what's coming. Then you've got store of value cryptos. Some people say Bitcoin's a store of value. Is it? It could be. What's stored in this cup, right? This cup is what's stored here is the metal, the plastic, the manufacturing, what happened to this cup? What makes this valuable? It's got some thermos qualities to it. This is a Yeti I'm very happy with. So my coffee from this morning is still warm, which is weird because it's like 4 hours since I poured this cup of coffee. It's still warm. There's a store of value in this cup of coffee. Is there a store of value in the Bitcoin? That's an interesting question. Is there a store of value in the Bitcoin? I don't know, but people talk about, is there a store of value? And if there is, Bitcoin would be the store of value coin, because obviously you can't buy anything with it if it takes 10 minutes to write a block and you're looking for 10, 12-minute transactions. Nobody in their right mind is going to walk into a store and wait 15 minutes for their coffee to get paid for. Then there's smart contract crypto. Ethereum might be considered that. ETHs might be considered that. Matic network, the Matics, any currency that's tied to a smart contract tool set is considered a smart contract cryptocurrency. There are payment cryptos like Dash, where they're trying to very, very quickly settle the transactions. I mean, Dash is named to be quick. They're trying to be a very fast spendable crypto coin. There are plenty of those out there. Then there are privacy cryptos like Monero, and that's the stuff that the James Bond stuff is made out of. That's like drug dealers and arms dealers and whoever. It's super private, super hard to trace, and because of that, they're hard to trade and find. Like, you can buy them, but they're hard to trade because not very many exchanges will jump on those privacy cryptos. Then there's exchange cryptos. Binance has BNBs. They have the Binance Smart Chain. You use that token. It's an exchange currency that is used for on the exchanges. It's you pay your gas fees with it, or you pay your transaction fees with it, and the exchanges themselves trade with it. Then there are Oracle cryptos like Link. And Band has theirs also. Umbrella Network, I think, has a currency. I forget what it's called right now. I don't trade in them at all, but I like Link very much. They've overproduced tokens right now, but you need Link tokens to work on chain link. So if you know what an Oracle network is, we could talk about that. It's a little down in the weeds from an engineering perspective, but if you have a regular database, it's got an API, but if you're in a decentralized world, there are no APIs. And so the Oracle networks pull the data together and you need them. So they're the weakest link. Oddly, funny they call them chain link, the weakest link in any of these systems, because they have to semi-centralize in order to gather the data you need. But the data gathering networks, the Oracle networks, are they have their own tokens, many of them. I've been showing you representations of tokens that look like coins. This is what an actual cryptocurrency looks like. It's got a wallet address, a to and a from, an amount. In this case, this is from my mining wallet. I got paid on June 1st for the mining rig that's right there, that mining rig that's behind me. That rig made in that 15 days, 0.035960, blah, 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 $97 basically worth of in 14 days of grinding out Ethereum blocks in part of a mining pool, the Ethermine mining pool. Oh, and the one last kind of coin I forgot to mess with are shit coins, meme coins like Dogecoin, which really have no basis in the universe at all. They're just, I don't know what you'd call it. They're just, it started out as a joke. It's still a joke, only there's real money changing hands, which is nuts. So nerd question. Let's see. What is Mike K asking me? The nerd question Mike is asking me is nerd question. Is that an X-Keys control surface, and what switcher software are you using? It's funny. Everybody always wants to know about my tech. It's weird. I guess because I'm a tech guy. It's not X-Keys. No, this is an iPad from Tim Cook. Tim Cook iPad running a thing called Vmix Panel Builder on it. So let me see. I will fire up Epicam on my iPhone real quick, and I'll be able to show it to you, because there's nothing more fun than Epicam. All right. So here's the system. This is what I'm looking at over here. As the slideshow, that's just a bunch of slides that I have that are my sort of, each slide I've shown you is here, and I can pick it. I can have it go automatically, or I can just pick it from a list. Then here is Vmix. This is what I use as a switching software. Vmix has a lot of inputs. I have literally hundreds of inputs, and I've got them sorted out into little zones, but it's much more fun for me to build panels. And so this is my panel builder, and I've got my sound effects in there. Kids cheer. And I've got, basically it's a regular switcher. Here are all the lower thirds. So if I want to put this lower third in, like this Shelly Palmer, or I want to put the question back in, that's my little question that you can see coming in and out of there. If I want to put my web address in there, I can do that too, whatever I like. When I want to, this is the preview in the program bar, so that's where that is. We got some stingers here, so if I want to go back and forth between things, like if I wanted to sting my way through it and come back, I can do that. Here you have just classic, merge and cross zoom and fade, because sometimes I like to do that. I got a couple things that are, fail safe. The full screen on off allows me to put, I should say, I'm sorry if that probably made you nauseated. This is output and NDI chat, and you can see full screen off. So if I hold this up, you'll see teleprompter on camera 1 has your chat from YouTube in it, which I can see. So if I switch that to output, which I will do, then this is the output of the camera, but that doesn't help me. So I can also put my teleprompter up there, but that becomes very valuable to me to be able to look in the camera when I have chat going. Then over here, turning on and off microphones. This advances the PowerPoint slides, which aren't really slides, they're pictures. Again, we already talked about, and these are the various overlay channels. So this is the downstream keyer and all the various ways that I would think about downstream keying. I have a hardware version of it in Elgato Stream Deck over here. 2 different versions of it, because I play with that a lot. This is this is my pride and joy. This is one of the things about the internet that are really interesting. VU meters you don't really use anymore. Obviously, I don't need a vector scope here. Radar is very helpful. This is the loudness in LUTs, loudness units. It's not VU. It looks like VU, but it isn't. And the reason that we use this as opposed to a VU meter is because we're trying to have perceived loudness be at a level. And then it's just an extra set of monitors. And oh, I have a, my SSL console is not really an SSL console. It's just a little SSL preamp that for the microphone, which is up there. That's a Rode pencil condenser. Network time connected to the internet. A ring light for my demo cam because there's actually another camera here that allows me to do this. Camera 4. Coming back. Then there's a studio monitor, speaker monitor tool set here. I could do that with this, but I don't. I literally do it with a big Mackie Big Knob. There's Genelecs in the corner. They're old and expensive. I love them because my ears are tuned to them. I have a bunch of other speakers in this environment from very cheap to very expensive. Yamaha headsets, which these are basically like an NS10M speaker. If you're an audio engineer, you know what NS10Ms are. These are the MT headphones that Yamaha makes that closely mimic that sound. This is my favorite thing. This is my cough switch. So basically, if I'm, you didn't hear me, right? It's just my mute button, but it's a mute button that, what I like about this is it's not a momentary switch. If I press it, it'll stay pressed till I press it again. It's really good when you start coughing or having a coughing fit or just want to talk to somebody when they walk in the room and not turn your actual mute button on. So that's the system that we're using. Camera 2 has its own teleprompter as well. Camera 3 is just sitting there staring at me. So that's basically the tech. I guess this is camera 3. We can go to camera 3 again, and this is that's basically the tech. So I hope that little studio tour was helpful for you guys. Any questions you have, I'm totally happy to answer them. The work I do, you know, I give a lot of speeches. You know, all of you who are here know that I talk for a living. In fact, I just have an on-off switch. That's what I do. And during COVID, I just kept up in the game. It was like, how much can we up the ante? How serious can we get? How, you know, hardcore can we make this? People they're paying for a show. Let's put on a show. So how good can we make the graphics? How easy can we make the whole thing? How easy can I make it to play videos? So if I want to, I want to show you Nyan Cat and start talking about Nyan Cat, we can do that really quickly. And that's, the ability to be able to do that. We have a massive storage capacity here. So we've got maybe 100 videos stored that we can show instantly. Like, you guys remember, like, we did our CES stuff. So, hey, we can talk CES right now. Let's go. Welcome to our virtual CES. We can't be at CES this year, but yeah, virtual CES. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, this is we had to be able to do that. We just had to be able to do that. And so that was my main thrust of what I was trying to do. It's just up the game, just get the game, raised as much as possible. What else I want to show? I have some more show and tell today, I think. We didn't get to cover anywhere near what I wanted to cover. I'm just looking to see if there's anything here that I really want to tell everybody. Oh, if you're not a part of our PGX world, you're all invited. There are links in the description. PGX.tech. It's a private social network. Most of you, in fact, it's almost all of you, are already on it, but please feel free, invite your friends. We'd love you to do that. That would be, I would consider that a personal favor if you would invite your friends and, anybody that the conversations there are awesome. Really enjoyed the kind of convos that are going on there. And yeah, it's been really cool. So also in the lower, I guess, left-hand corner, possibly right where you are, is at Shelly Palmer. That's my Twitter handle. Tweet something nice. Tweet something not nice. Tweet something. I'd appreciate it. Be very helpful. Take a picture of the screen. Do whatever it is you do to socialize, because we could use the promotion. My goal over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to move this, I think, to noon on Wednesdays. We might cut it back to a half hour. I'm going to try and go super deep on DeFi for the next 6 to 10 weeks. And the reason is the NFT marketplace has all but fallen apart. And one of the reasons that it's fallen apart, I think, I don't know, but one of the reasons I think it has fallen apart, and we're talking about not a little bit, we're not talking a little bit of falling apart. Transactions are down 90% since the peak, 90. It's easy to tell where all the digital wallets are, and it's easy to tell where all of the cryptocurrency is. You may not know who owns it, but you know where the stuff is. And there are organizations that analyze the various blockchains all the time. And there just aren't enough digital wallets. And right now, that's how NFTs are bought and sold, through digital wallets. There are a few pseudo NFT environments like Top Shot where it's not really an NFT, it's kind of an NFT. All NFTs are smart contracts. All smart contracts are not NFTs. And it's the smart contract stuff that really has my attention. Again, when you think about a business where you don't apply anything that you already know about how business is transacted, nothing, not going to a bank, not putting your money in a bank, nothing, just completely let your mind go. If you could invent a world where you had a barter system for value, you create value and someone gives you something that you value in exchange for it. And when you create something, you want it to have residual value so that there's a lifetime value of everything you create and you can participate in it without knowing where it ultimately ends up. You create a piece of music, it's enjoyed by whoever it's enjoyed by, they sell it to someone else. You create a piece of artwork, they sell it to someone else. Whatever value you create, whatever joy you spark, whatever thing you do, can you build a business model around it that takes advantage of the features of a smart contract? And if you can, then that's the future of the world. Now, all kinds of micro lending, all kinds of financial engineering. If you're a financial engineer, I don't need to be telling you about this because the whole world of decentralized finance is built on people inventing completely new ways to transact business because they've democratized finance the way they've democratized information. So that's why I'm going to concentrate on this for the next couple of weeks. And, we'll probably get back to pure media and entertainment soon enough. But for now, I want to go deep. I want to go really deep into the kinds of things we can do, whether it's creating environments where you benefit from the value you create, where you build a community and they can transact by creating value for one another. And whether it's inside technology, media, and marketing, or whether it's in the entertainment business or not, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. We're not limited. Our imagination shouldn't be limited by the disciplines that we've learned or by the things that the swim lane we've been told we have to stay in. The whole point of this is that there aren't any swim lanes. You make your own. And I'm very excited by that. Always have been excited by this kind of possibility. When music left the bounds of acoustic musical instruments, and it was in the 1970s, I'm dating myself, and I got my first analog synthesizer, and this goes back to 1970 itself. It's a 12-year-old, and I'm sitting down with my Moog System 2, serial number 002, the back of my dad's music store, and I'm making sounds that I'd never thought about before. No one had. Brand new. Wow. It's hard to make people understand that. Those sounds are now considered antique and vintage, and samplers sample them, and people try to mimic them with modern machines. But can you imagine sitting in a room by yourself, a bunch of patch cords, a couple of speakers, and experiencing sound that had never existed in the world before? That was my childhood. That's the level of exploration that gets me going. That's what drove me to build the first ever tapeless recording studio that was ever put online commercially, basically a decade later. And I've been doing a lot of interesting inventing over the years, a bunch of patents on the wall behind me, but nothing in my life since that time has struck me the way this does. This really frees up everyone to do anything within reason. So that's what we're going to concentrate on. I'm going to move it to noon because I think people are getting back to work, and I think that that's cool. And so lunch hour is probably a better time than 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the East Coast friends, and the noon time frame means it's before work for our friends in California, which is the good news, and it's after work for our friends in the UK and in Europe. So that's my thought around that. That we do it from 12 to 12:30, 12:15 to 12:45, something like that, and we'll figure it all out. If you want to reach me, I'm super easy to reach. Just Shelly at shellypalmer.com. I'm very happy to answer your emails and any questions you have about the tech you saw today, or about the way that I use it, or the way you might need to use it if you're trying to level up your online game, your online meeting game. I know a lot of people are going to be hybrid now. You're going to have some of the meetings that you take will be in person because we need them in person. Everybody needs face-to-face meetings again, but I know that at least 35% of the work that I do is going to be strictly online going forward, which is why I spent the time to invest in this kind of rig. Totally happy to help anybody with that information. I've got a bunch of stuff already written down and some playbooks done, and we've got a lot of workflow and process done. I'm happy to share it with you. So if that's something you need, just Shelly at shellypalmer.com, or if you want to talk about crypto or DeFi, or if you got some ideas for projects, I'm really interested in the way people are thinking now. Nothing is too weird, where I don't want to hear another advanced media, advanced television story about how you've reinvented television. I think that's been asked and answered. But if you've reinvented how someone can get a loan, if you've reinvented how somebody can create or continue to receive value for their creative that they've done, or song they've written, or a poem they've written, or a piece of art they've created, or a new way for somebody to fund their home bakery business, or it doesn't matter. I've had some outrageous conversations with people that are totally nonsense. They were very enjoyable because you just never know when someone's going to say something that's going to make you think of something amazing too. So anybody who's thinking about this, if you're going to take the time to think about it, I will definitely take the time to listen to it. Mike Koenig says, a Moog aficionado. My guess is that you're a Kraftwerk Tangerine Dream. Yes. And Jari, oh yeah. Love everybody there. Really do. That list is a good list. And Wendy Carlos, who also was one of the first people I met in the business. Wendy's amazing. My competitor, Suzanne Ciani, was fantastic. My West Coast alter ego, Mike Boddicker, who we fought tooth and nail for a decade and a half for work. Mike Brigida from the ARP company, who was amazing. There's so many people in the early age of analog synthesis. And Howie Schwartz is on this. He's in the audience right now. Howie owned my very favorite recording studio in Manhattan before I built my own. And Howie will tell you that Doopy, the guy who used to deliver safes for a living, this guy delivered monstrous jewelry safes to jewelry companies. He did one of those a day, and the rest of the time in his truck, he had all of my synthesizer equipment. And he used to go, and he and a helper would set it up. And all he used to do was bitch about the elevators in the Gray Bar building to me about how to get my stuff into Howard Schwartz recorders, which was kind of funny back in the day, because they used to have to hump that stuff there and set it up for me. That was my road crew, and they did that 4 days a week, 3 days a week, till they got to the point where they couldn't do it anymore. And Howie and I never talked about me leaving stuff there because I needed it every night. Like I couldn't. Then we had to buy 2 sets of everything, leave one on the truck and leave one set up somewhere because they couldn't get back and forth. And then we had to build our own studios. Oh, yeah, the days of monstrous analog gear. They were wonderful. I think back on them fondly. But you know what I'm really doing? I'm thinking ahead to what this is, because this is what's new. This is what's exciting. This is what's getting my boat floated right now. It's like, how can we change the world? So if you've got an idea, please share. And with that, I will thank you so much. Wednesdays are my favorite days, and this is my favorite thing to do. So, you're a big part of that, and I really appreciate you being here and spending this time with me. And thank you for your comments and your questions today. They're fantastic. Again, you know where to reach me. Feel free to reach out. And with that, I will thank you again and wish you a very good weekend. And hopefully we will see you all next week here on what will be Crypto Wednesday. Take care.